Ever wondered what's holding you back from achieving fluency in English? In today's video, I'm spilling the tea on common mistakes in learning English so you can avoid them. Hi everyone, you're welcome to my YouTube channel, Monvie. So let's get started. Watching videos and movies passively. Watching videos in English is of course cool, but if you do that for learning purpose, just passive watching is not that effective. I don't say that every time you watch something, you need to perceive it as a lesson and notice new words, like really learn. But most of the time, try really to get something from that. For example, if you notice certain phrases or words and they are repeated several times, check their meaning and learn them. If natives use them so often, you can also integrate them into your speech. If you are still in this active learning stage, you really need to watch movies and videos very attentively. And also, of course, try to be focused on this video. If you think that, okay, you play a video, you take your phone, you open your Instagram and you just start scrolling and you think that, oh, you know what, actually I'm learning English because I'm listening to English on the background. Meantime, I scroll my feed on Instagram. Well, it's not actual learning, so your English is not improving. It's like expecting to learn 1000 words per night just by listening to them. It all depends on the stage of your learning and your level. But if your level is lower than intermediate, you really need to listen to this language attentively, consuming various accents simultaneously. This is kinda a controversial opinion. Some people think that consuming content in various accents is a good thing. You watch American, British, Australian movies, you listen to different English each time. So by this, you can get used to that. You'll be able to understand anyone. Yeah, it's actually a good side. Of course, it depends on your situation and your goal in learning English, but I can say that if you will consume several accents simultaneously, your speech will remind a mix of all of these accents. If you like that, go on. But as for me, I like clear English, so that was really my mistake to consume English in various accents. Several months ago, I decided to choose American accent because I like it more and for me it's easier. But even now, sometimes I notice some words or pronunciational patterns from British accent. Of course, I don't say that it's bad or it's forbidden, but as for me, I just pay attention to it in my speech. So I encourage you to choose one accent and consume information in it, talking only to yourself. I know that not everyone has an opportunity to talk to natives in English, and even language exchange websites will not be the best option because your level in English is too low to maintain a normal conversation with another person. Talking to yourself is for sure a great tool, but you need to understand that by this, you will not learn how to talk to another people. And I don't think that you learn English just for talking to yourself. I hope so. And I've noticed such an interesting thing. When I was talking to myself, I was really fluent. Everything was perfect. I had enough vocab in my brain, so I could really speak fast and my thoughts in my head, they weren't mixed. But when I decided to talk to other people, sometimes I couldn't even come up with words in my head because for me that was already something new. And of course, topics, they were simply different. You always discuss those topics with yourself in which you're confident, you are sure that you know this vocab, this phrase. Yeah, it's another thing when you talk to another person. I'm not saying to start talking to other people online from the first days of learning, but if you already have at least intermediate level, I recommend you not to lose this opportunity, as you already have enough vocab, so actually you will not talk about something very difficult like scientific things, all that stuff. So now you can already maintain a normal conversation. And yeah, I know it can be scary. I remember myself when I decided to talk on the language exchange website, I couldn't do that because I was so scared. I didn't know, okay, what are we going to talk about? How am I supposed to start this conversation? conversation that will be so awkward. And what I mean by all of this, you can of course like text other people on these language websites, but I encourage you to start talking to them. Like in voice calls, it's much more effective because by this you will practice your speaking. But just by texting other people, actually like your English is improving because you write something in English. And you know, especially when you talk to people who are at the same level with you, like for example, they are not natives but they also learn English, they will not judge you if you will make some mistakes. So as you learn English to communicate with others, you need actually to communicate with others. Yeah, learning words out of context. You want to expand your vocab. Okay, I get you. But just by simple learning lists of words that you will forget in a day, you remain at the same place. And furthermore, you just waste your time. Learn only those words which you really need. For example, you come across them in movies, in videos on YouTube, and that's actually what we call active vocab, because you hear these words very often, so you will use them very often as well. All those lists with words actually will not improve your language at all, and mostly they are out of context, so you don't even have any examples how do you need to use these words. When I was learning English, to be frank, I made such a mistake. I was learning this huge list of words and I really was sure that by this I will improve my English and everything like will be perfect. I will know so many words. But just a couple of months ago, I realized that, oh, you know what, actually my English didn't improve. I mean, in this vocab sense. So what I was doing during all of this time, I can't recall even 70% of all those words which I have in my flashcards, because I was learning them, you know, like just from lists. I didn't see any examples, you know, like you just see this word, you see its translation, and you think that, okay, maybe I will come up with some examples and the job is done and I know this word. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like this. And during all of this time, when I needed these words, they, you know, like actually disappeared from my mind. You will not recall these words when you will really need them. They are not even a part of your vocab in your brain. Focusing on speed of speech. For some people, it can seem really a good idea, as when you talk fast, it means that your English level is really high, but you neglect other important areas in your speech. You can't be focused on speed, pronunciation, and overall context simultaneously. As a result, your English is fast but not clear. You will mix everything. For your communicational partner, it will be really hard to listen to you and understand what are you talking about. When I was learning English for quite a long period of time, I was watching videos in English at 1.5 speed. So for sure, it affected my speech as well. And I was speaking really fast in English. I didn't have any opportunity, like any possibility to notice all of my mistakes in pronunciation, in intonation, even in grammar. So because of that, I encourage you to not focus on speed, because you're not able to speak clear when you are just, you know, in a rush. And my pronunciation was suffering the most because I couldn't pay enough attention to it. For me, everything was perfect, you know, like the main thing that I can speak in English. So what do you need more? But now I think completely like the opposite, because I understand that if you wanna get this advanced level, you need to be able to speak clear as well, not just fast but clear. So focus on quality rather than on speed. If you will talk a bit slower, it will be more pleasant to listen to you, because it will mean that you really think before you say something. And to solve this problem, you can start recording yourself, and of course pay attention to the speed of your speech. If you start speaking really fast, just remind yourself that by this you are not improving your English. Using as many learning methods as possible at the same time. You need to keep balance in everything, and it goes for learning as well. If you have 10 different methods how to learn a certain thing, it doesn't mean that you will learn it faster or it will be much more effective. Vice versa, it will only distract you because you will not be able to focus on something fully. It's like multitasking, you know? You do several things at the same time, and as a result, you don't get anything done because you were so busy just switching between all of these tasks. When I was learning English, I had this list with 20 different methods of learning this language, and before each lesson, I had to spend at least 5 minutes to choose what methods I will use today, and that was really exhausting. So choose from 3 to 5 methods and pay your full attention to them. Quantity doesn't equal better results. Remember that, and try to create a learning plan in order not to waste your time every time to choose this method. For example, firstly, you watch a video on YouTube. After that, you can improve your grammar, read something. So learning structure really helped me to stay consistent and get results. For sure, I didn't create this learning structure from the first days of my learning English. It all came with time and practice. Reading too quickly. About quick reading aloud, I can say the same thing, and I'm talking about reading aloud because it's much more effective than just silently looking at the lines. By this, you don't improve your pronunciation and intonation. Of course, it depends on your goal, but overall, if you wanna improve your speaking, you need to read aloud. So when you read fast, you ignore everything. Even though the text is right in front of your eyes, you really can't notice other things, so you're just focused on quick reading. But you're improving your language. It's not a race. It's better to use this opportunity for improving your pronunciation, intonation, noticing and learning new words in context. However, for sure, if you will just run through this text, you will not notice anything. In Spanish, sometimes I read even faster than in English because all the words, they are kind of connected, and it's so tempting to read that paragraph just in one breath. So try to remind yourself every time to slow down because it's really important. Even for me, sometimes it's really complicated because when you understand everything and all the words, they just go with flow, you really wanna, read this as quick as possible, and you don't pay any attention to the context. So one more time, quality over speed. Thanks for watching this video. If it was helpful, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. See you soon in my next videos. Bye.